Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Svargrond Locked Iron Man. Join me today as I continue to decimate fellow barbarians, vanquish a rare breed of spiders, and find my fame in the arena. In the last episode, I have finally obtained gear good enough to be able to battle a certain opponent. The stars have aligned themselves perfectly. Very soon it was going to be one of the very rare double events. Not only would the enemies drop double the items, the respawn rate was boosted as well. There would be no better time for me to start grinding the infamous crystal spiders. These dangerous creatures have a whopping 43 points of armor. They can deal up to 358 damage in a single turn. They are incredibly fast and can paralyze you. I wasn't worried about fighting them one at a time. However, they often come in large packs. To increase my chances of successfully hunting these beasts, I decided to first level myself up to level 50. Thanks to that, I could finally utilize strong healing and mana potions. They would be the edge necessary to safely roam these creatures' habitat during a period of increased respawn rates. Crystal spiders have a chance of dropping the following upgrades. The Night Legs, once in 134 kills, our first and a very substantial upgrade over the Studded Legs. The Night Armor, dropping once in 180 tries, though it is quite heavy compared to our Mammoth Fur Cape and doesn't look quite as fancy, it still offers a substantial bonus to our defenses, which I cannot let go. The Sapphire Hammer, an immensely powerful one-handed club weapon, also being an incredibly rare 1 in 705 kills drop. A Platinum Amulet, to finally fill in our next slot, even though it also is incredibly rare, dropping only one time every 826 kills. Keep in mind these values are the average drops. Chances are I could very well have to kill up to 3000 spiders before I see any of those items. My chances are improved thanks to the double loot event, but that still is no guarantee for me to get what I want. The crystal spiders also offer an interesting utility item. Once in 1200 spider kills, one can hope to obtain a jeweled backpack. While regular backpacks can only fit about 20 items, the jeweled backpack can fit 22. It's not exactly a high priority item for me, but I certainly wouldn't argue if one of those found its way to my hands. While killing barbarians for EXP, I happened to loot a spare Mammoth Fur Cape and also 2 pairs of the Mammoth Fur Pants. Even though of little value to the regular players, I am willing to keep them forever in my depot chest as a trophy, after trying them on, of course. Soon enough, I was perfectly ready to take on the Crystal Spider menace. They roam many different areas in Svargrond, but I was able to secure a single location that was quite easy to access, did not contain any other monsters, and more or less allowed me to take on only one at a time. Despite their incredible defense, there wasn't much they could do against my powerful holy spells. While still learning the ropes of this place, I would often have to fight 2 of the spiders at once, but I quickly figured out a way to fight them more safely and more efficiently. Here comes yet another montage of some of my kills. To no surprise, the most common item, Night Legs, were the first ones to drop. I cannot complain, since it is the largest increase in armor that I could obtain. Next up, a huge hit to my total capacity, the Night Armor. Next up, after a long dry period, the Platinum Amulet. My defenses were now maxed out. And finally, the weapon upgrade. Sapphire Hammer has dropped not long after the Platinum Amulet. I don't think I need to point this out, but having obtained all these items in only 167 spider kills is quite an immense amount of luck. Truth is, I was prepared to keep farming those spiders for the entire weekend. In fact, I was caught so off guard that I had no idea what I was going to do next. I simply did not prepare the next step of my plan. To avoid wasting any time, I decided to start working on some quests. Like I said before, I was allowed to leave Svargrond area should a Svargrond bound quest direct me there. And so I picked up a jug and sailed to Port Hope. A shaman from Nibelor has asked me to fill the jug with termites and then place it inside of the pirate ship. I determined my new gear was good enough to withstand attacks of the pirates, which I have previously feared. After that, I have splattered some baby seals with green paint and then finally decided it was time. I have signed up for the arena. As for the greenhorn level, there was no item that I was really interested in. Fighting the combatants was no challenge at all. I was able to quickly carve my way through their ranks and made it to the reward room. The weapon reward from greenhorn level is a two-handed weapon. Like I mentioned before, I do not intend to use two-handers too much on my character. Compared to my melee fighting skill, my shielding will be way higher. This means any kind of damage for defense payoff will be way outweighed. After that, it was time for the real challenge. Scrapper level of Barbarian Arena poses way more of a threat. There are some enemies that could easily kill me should they put their back into it. A knight of my level would easily handle them due to his high maximum HP. Paladins or mages can run from the enemies using some sort of field runes. As a melee fighting paladin, I did not have the privilege of any of those. I could not dodge any hits, and I also did not have the bulk to take some of them. My first enemy was called the Avalanche. He is a unique version of the Ice Golem. When I said some of the enemies could kill me easily, I did not mean Avalanche. Compared to a regular Ice Golem, he has less damage, less resistances, and slightly more HP. Needless to say, I make short work of him. Fighter number 2 is called Kribosh the Exile. He is a unique Djinn. Compared to a typical green Djinn, he has way more damage, over twice as much, double the health, and also can summon 2 regular green Djinns. He was quite the tough opponent in his own right, able to take away almost 90% of my HP in a single turn. His 2 Djinn summons did not make it any easier either. A maximum hit of such a group would be up to 1000 damage. While fighting Kribosh, I only had 615. Needless to say, I was very lucky to never see the Djinn summons. His attacks also weren't too vicious, so I was able to fend him off pretty quickly. Fighter number 3 is quite a joke compared to previous 2 opponents. The Dark Dancer can heal herself and also summon some ghouls. Other than that, she has no special abilities, at least ones that matter, and so I was able to enjoy a short break before I had to fight the 4th one. Fighter number 4 was going to be pretty much the same thing, except this time done right. The Hag, a unique version of Barbarian Brute Tamer, can summon 2 ghosts or 2 crypt shamblers, deal some decent melee damage and heal herself while also maintaining invisibility. Her damage output was still nowhere near enough to defeat me, so all I had to do was be patient enough to deal enough damage. Fighter number 5 is a bone beast named Slim. Very much like Avalanche, while sharing some similarities to regular bone beasts, he has less damage, less resistances, and also more health. To put it simply, he did not pose much of a threat. Upon killing him, I was able to advance to level 52. While not a massive boost in power, it was still quite useful to get my mana and HP regenerated fully. Fighter number 6. An orc warlord called Grimgor God-Eater. You have probably heard that one before, but he's just a slightly weaker version of a regular warlord. The 7th opponent was going to be slightly different. A dragon called Dracilla. Its maximum damage is only slightly lower than that of a regular dragon, and with a decent boost to maximum HP, it was enough to make me slightly wary. Enemy number 8. From now, they won't be just weaker versions of their real counterparts. Spirit of Earth. A unique stone golem capable of dealing 640 damage in a single turn. Compared to my 625 maximum HP at the time, he did prove quite intimidating. I made sure to keep my HP high and ultimately prevailed against this beast. Enemy number 9 has proven to be the most dangerous of the bunch. The Spirit of Water is capable of healing vast amounts of HP every turn. It can deal immense amounts of damage, up to 800 a turn, and also possesses quite nice resistances to elemental damage. Some of its abilities deal drown damage, and it can be easily circumvented by wearing a Helmet of the Deep. I'm afraid I do not possess such an item. I made sure to use energy fields to deal some additional damage. I spammed my Holy Strike as much as I could and healed myself at all times, every turn, just to keep myself from dying by a singular high roll of damage. Once I have locked its movements in place with my energy fields, its attacks stopped being so vicious. It also didn't seem very keen to heal itself. I made short work of it afterwards. Fighter number 10. The Spirit of Fire. Is it a strong version of a fire elemental? Is it a weaker version of a hellfire fighter? I do not know. All I care about is it can deal a lot of damage as well. Even though his maximum hit should not be higher than 640, which, while weaker than the Spirit of Waters, is still enough to kill me in one hit. It appears his average damage per second is way higher. I found myself healing very often and was stressed during the entire fight. I even edged closer to the teleporter, just to make sure I could make a timely escape should I find myself outmatched. I was so focused on the fight, in fact, that I have not noticed the paranormal teleporter activity. Was it the fire fields being teleported away? Was someone trying to teleport in to help me with my battle? I may never know. I never received any help and was able to kill the Spirit of Fire. My reward was one of my favorite maces in the game, the mighty Cranial Basher.
Here comes the boy. Hello. Well.
What I did not realize was I could not use that weapon yet. It required level 60 to wield properly. Despite that minor setback, the stars were still on my side. Increased respawn event was still underway, which meant I could easily go and hunt some barbarians, which I did. Except this time I decided to utilize all of my power. And with that, my arms were finally bulky enough to wield this magnificent ball of steel. My body was ready to handle the Cranial Basher. And this major achievement marks the end of this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a nice 25th anniversary of Tibia. Make sure to click on all the tables and collect all the badly animated present boxes. Feel very welcome to leave me a comment. And also join my Discord if you would like to keep more in touch. Take care everyone, and I will see you in the next one.